Hey everybody, wanted to make a video on absolute value inequalities using the Desmos graphing calculator. So if you're not one of my students, then you don't know what you're looking at right here, but this is a copy of my classroom notes. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through a couple of these examples of my classroom notes on how you would get the answers to an absolute value inequality just using the graphic calculator. Like you don't know how to solve it at all, or you don't want to, whatever. So I'm going to graph this number one example. X minus 1.5 is less than or equal to 3.5. And so what you can do with Desmos is you can type it in all at once. And the nice thing is, it'll give you vertical lines where your boundaries are, and then it'll shade in the middle or it'll shade on the ends. So, like if I were to flip this inequality sign, it would be shading left and right. And so, if I were to go back to how it was, it's shading in the middle. Oh, hold on, let me make sure it is underlined. So what this tells me is I can see on the x-axis I have -2 for my left boundary and then +5 for the right boundary. So x is going to be in between -2 and 5. So my answer will look like in inequality form, a compound inequality like this, -2 and 5. If you are doing a test and it says what number line graph matches the solution set, it would just be a number line with -2 on one side and 5 on the other and shading in the middle. And that's just, that's how you would get the answer. Now, let's say this answer was like a decimal. So I'm going to put a 3 in front of here, and you can't clearly see what the x-intercepts are. And so what you want to do is you want to take out, if you can't clearly see what the numbers are, you want to take out the other side of the inequality, and you want to graph it on line 2. Now, you just need to put the letter y in front of it. It doesn't help you with the shading direction or anything like that, but it does help you with the endpoints. So I'll have -2/3 on one end and +4/3 on the other end, or these decimals. Um, so that's how you would do that if you can't tell what the vertical lines are. Okay. Um, let's move on to another example. Here I have the absolute value of 8x minus 11 is less than 0. So if I go back to Desmos and I have it typed in all at once, you see nothing. Anytime you see nothing, I zoom out to make sure like it's just not in the window. So I've zoomed out a bunch here. I can tell that it's no solution. And then you can tell for sure if you take this out and then you graph it in line 2, again, just throw a y in front, and you see a dashed line. If anything lands on a dashed line, it's not part of the solution set. It has to land in the shaded area. Now, if this line were solid, there'd be one answer, and that'd be a 0. This point of intersection here, it'd be 1.375. But because it's strictly less than 0, there's no solution, okay? So if there's any doubt, you could just go back and type it in all in one line. You'd see nothing. But um, so yeah, I hope that makes sense. I don't want to over-explain this one. Um, Another example of, the opposite of no solution would be all real numbers. So in this example, I have a solution of all real numbers. So here it is graphed in Desmos, typed in all in one line. You see everything shaded out. So if you zoom out, shaded in. If you zoom out a whole bunch, it just keeps staying shaded. So if you want a clearer picture, type in y, then type in the second part of the inequality, and then you'll see that the shaded area completely covers up the v representing your absolute value part of the graph. So if that happens, you have an all real numbers solution. So I hope this video helped. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.